Hi guys, so I'm continuing on from the last one, um, because it was getting long. So I talked about overall where I am now, and I talked about my goal of having better emotional control and different things and ways of doing that. So now I'm going to talk about my fatigue. I'm pretty much always sleepy. I can go to bed right now, and it's what, and just after 7 p.m. I can go to bed right now, and that one's frustrating. I have found a few pieces of information that are hopeful, but a lot of things are not so hopeful. Um, so let's see. I was on the advisory committee for a project with CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. I met someone from Autism Ontario at an autism awareness event, and she asked me to be on the advisory committee. So basically, the researchers would show us, we'd have video conference meetings, and the researchers would show us, like, through different stages of the project, how can we recruit people? Are these questions okay? Do any of these answers people gave surprise you? And through that, fatigue came up. A lot of people they interviewed commented on being fatigued, and somebody else as well, somebody from Curious Place that I mentioned in the last video, also mentioned mental fatigue. And I know fatigue as a symptom of depression is a thing, as a symptom of fibromyalgia. So I do wonder sometimes if I'm always just going to be fatigued. I am going to check my iron and B12 levels. In the past, they've been low, and that contributes to fatigue. I am getting blood work tomorrow, actually. But I don't know. I've been on supplements before. I don't know if it makes a huge difference. I do wonder if I'll always have to deal with this. Um, the things that are more hopeful, though, with that are two things. So, CAMH, again, Center for Addiction and Mental Health. I participated in a study. This is totally separate from the other thing I just mentioned, where they did genetic testing. I gave blood, and they did genetic testing to see how I metabolized drugs. And I got excited because when it came back, it listed psychiatric drugs in three different categories. One was like perfectly fine for me to take. One was like used with caution. And one was like probably avoid. And my antidepressant is in the avoid column, and I got all excited and showed it to my psychiatrist. I was thinking maybe she would switch me and maybe I wouldn't be so tired. I have been on this antidepressant a long time, so it would, I've had always some fatigue, although it got noticeably worse when fibromyalgia started, but I've always had this fatigue issue, and I got all excited. Maybe this med, I know this med helps stabilize my mood, and now we also know it's helping with my OCD. But maybe there's something else out there. No, she completely dismissed me. She's good at that. I find her kind of cynical. I think she doesn't like being told what to do by her patients, even though, well, that's how she perceives it, I think. Anytime you try to ask her a question or suggest something, um, which is why I want a second opinion when it comes to my mood disorder diagnosis. Because I've asked her that too and she's dismissed it. So that was disappointing. Hopefully, maybe a new psychiatrist will take that more seriously, so there's still hope there. And the other two things I've found out, I saw on some medical paperwork of mine the words delayed sleep phase syndrome, which I Googled to find out what it meant. And it basically is just that your body clock is out of whack, which maybe is why I've always regarded myself as a night owl, but even to other night owls, it was extreme. So I read that and I'm like, okay, what do I do about it? And you can get your body clock back in whack, so to speak. So I've been working on that. I do get up earlier and go to sleep earlier than I was. Probably big couple hour jump back at least. Um, don't know if I feel a difference yet, but I'm gonna keep going with it, and it'll probably help in the working world. Honestly, I would probably be happy to do a night shift job. I just don't like morning. Probably never will. But being able to have my sleep back in normal people hours will help me find a job because the night shift type work is going to be a lot more limited. I don't need to limit myself like that unnecessarily. And the other thing that gave me hope is I totally just stumbled across this online. Mutations on a gene called MTHFR have been linked to many of my diagnoses, actually, but also fatigue. People with this mutation don't process an enzyme properly, and, excuse me, all I have to do is take a B vitamin. I think it's B2 or B12, um, and they get all this energy back because their body's not able to utilize the vitamin from food. You have to take supplements. So I do want to get tested for that. It will be after Christmas because of the cost, and I'm a little nervous trying to convince my family doctor because I've only been with her since May. My previous family doctor kind of dismissed everything. So I'm hoping she's willing to give me the requisition. I'm hoping something comes back and helps me with the fatigue. So I'm clinging on to that hope because, I mean, you can understand how emotional control would affect you in the workplace. You may not understand fatigue. If you haven't lived with disabling levels of fatigue, you may not understand. So for me, any hope that I could be less tired and increase my stamina is amazing, and I'll cling to it, and I'll keep trying. And that brings me to looking at my phone here. My third big thing is getting my body pain as low as I can. Not to very much a fibromyalgia thing, and again, it can be debilitating and stop you from working. So I've got quite the regimen going. I've got exercises. I have low muscle tone, poor posture, which has some areas of my body are really floppy, other areas are really tight to compensate. So I have exercises for my neck, my shoulders, my abs, my hips. My calves are really tight. So I do my exercises. I wear shoe orthotics. I think I have flat feet and I'm walking on the insides of my feet or something like that. What else? I have prescription medications in my regimen. One for stiffness, one for pain, and I recently added a medication for migraine. I seem to be suffering from migraines now. That's still going to need tweaking, but it does seem to be helping. I've added. Oh, yeah. So I should mention this. I've had pain sort of in this area pretty much. Well, now it's doing better because it's migraine meds, but from like March, and this headache would never go away. And my family doctor thought it might be a sinus issue, and I had a CT scan, and I'm actually missing. This sinus is missing. This one's underdeveloped. I have a deviated septum, and they found a couple other things. So I don't know if that could be contributing to my head pain or not. I would like to see an allergist and or an ENT, maybe for an opinion. Problem is the referral system where I live. If you want to see a specialist, you can't just call and make an appointment. You'll have to get it through your family doctor, and the referrals expire after 6 months. And I have seen both those doctors in the past, but I will need new referrals, so it's on the list. It's a lower priority because the migraine meds do seem to be helping. But I'll get to that, and maybe that's a component of it too. I would just like to know. I'd like to not have head pain my whole life. So my regimen, as I was saying, I have the prescription medications, the exercises. I see a chiropractor. I've done physiotherapy. There's probably more that I'm not remembering, but a lot of my life rolls around trying to sort that out. And I recently added two more things. I started taking medical cannabis. Recreational cannabis is legal in Canada now, so it was almost pointless anyway. But I take medical cannabis, which I find helps with my stiffness, particularly when it's a rainy day. I'm like an old person. I wake up and I know it's rainy, and on those days I'll take extra, and it definitely helps with the stiffness. Um, Often on, like today I'm not really in pain, but if the weather went up and down a lot or I was walking a lot, even though I'm on prescription, some pain would still, they call it breakthrough pain, breaks through your prescription. The marijuana helps with that. Um, and then yet another thing I've added to my regimen are nerve blocks. The doctor injects, I didn't even know how many he did last time. It felt like about 8. I had them done yesterday, my last round. I go in every 2 weeks now, and he's been doing my neck and shoulders. Um, not entirely sure of the science behind it. I know it calms down the nerves, makes things less reactive, and like I can use my arms more. I can walk longer without horrible neck pain. I mean, it's frustrating at times. I feel like I'm 80 years old with all these medical things going on and the amount of crap. Sorry, my note just disappeared. With the amount of stuff I'm having to do, amount of pills I'm taking, but then I see the results, and it's worth it. I do think the amount of medication I take does contribute to my fatigue, although every doctor I've spoken to has said it shouldn't be as much as I'm describing. So, we discussed that already, but at this point I'm like, I'll take like my psychiatrist is right. She'd rather have me tired than suicidal. So I mean, to choose between being in pain and depressed and anxious and blah 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 and having some, side effects of sleepiness, it's kind of a no-brainer for me. And I'm pretty satisfied with my healthcare choices. Um, Anything else about my pain regimen on my list here? Yeah, so I think that's where I'm at with. I've probably missed something. There's so many things in my regimen around my body pain. Um, but yeah, it's all working, and I'm gonna. It's annoying, like every other week to have a doctor's appointment, but I'm gonna keep going with it. Um, how do I wanna? So I think I'll just jump into. I'll wrap it up with some good news. I've been trying for a while to lose weight. I gained a lot of weight on an antidepressant, and I was switched off that antidepressant, and the weight gain stopped, but I didn't lose what I was on. And I was trying to figure out a way, and it's been plain. It's actually been pretty simple. I've started seeing. Well, I'm doing two things actually. I'm seeing a dietitian, and I've also been working with an occupational therapist. Um, the occupational therapist has helped me learn how to sort of incorporate new foods into my diet because my diet was very limited and would often consist of junk. So she's been helping me, and then the dietitian has been sort of guiding me on how to eat, on what to snack on. Eat fruit and nuts instead of a cookie. Fruit and nuts. So that was slurred. Um, which could be a medication side effect if I'm being honest. It's not perfect. Pharmaceuticals are not perfect. Um, but I'm glad I live when and where I do. I'm glad it's not 50 years ago and I don't just have to drink myself into a stupor. But anyway, my good news is, as I was saying, I'm actually finally losing weight. I'm actually starting to finally get the weight off, and it's not been anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I don't really miss junk food. I feel fine eating what I'm eating. I'm not an emotional eater. I've never really enjoyed eating. I eat because I have to live. So maybe that's why, as of this point, I haven't found it that difficult. I may say something different down the road. But so far, this is going well. And I guess I kind of knew it would. I knew I could lose weight. So much stuff, especially in the last 3 years, has been thrown at me, and I just keep going. I'm just like, okay, more pills, more tests, more medical problems. I'm actually going in for an ultrasound of my bladder on Monday. Now that's acting up. Like I feel like I've run out of functional body systems, but okay, I'll just keep going. I'll lose the weight. I'll take the pills. I'll do, I'm feeling pretty hopeful. Looking at how well I'm doing at all my goals. And I know that was a long update, so that's going to be more than enough for today. I do want to come back. I'm going to do a video about my OCD. I'm going to dive into that more because I've been finding it quite interesting. And I think I'll stop rambling now. And thank you to anyone who made it all the way this far. Thank you.